Thanks, Tony. Ernie Goss is an economist at Crichton University, and the Mid American Report of Manufacturing has expanded. It is incredible. Good morning, Ernie.
Good morning, Fawn. Good to be with you.
Oh, good to have you. This looks good for March, doesn't it?
It does. It's the highest index we've recorded for manufacturers in the nine-state region since July of 2022. So that's the good news. A little bit more inflationary pressures than we'd like to see, but hey, we can deal with that with an expanding manufacturing economy.
Yeah, jobs are soaring, and these are good-paying jobs.
They are, Fawn, and that's of course good news out there. And when we ask about the number of applicants for the number of openings, that was also reasonably good. We had openings up, and we had a number of applicants up as well. So jobs are still out there for most of the states, in stretching from North Dakota and Minnesota and the north to Arkansas and Oklahoma in the south.
Well, instead of putting up solar fields, maybe we should be building manufacturing centers for these car parts ABC can't stop crying about that come from other countries.
That's right. And today's going to be a very important day. Of course, the president's put his press conference off till 4 o'clock instead of 3 o'clock. And so we'll have to wait and see what he has to say about tariffs. But that's a big unknown, and we are seeing a lot of volatility, of course, because of that uncertainty.
Well, the markets are volatile every time somebody passes gas, Ernie. I mean, as an economist, you know that. They react to everything. So
you're right.
The way the news is making it sound like, oh my gosh, oh this, oh that. They should be focusing a little bit more on all the police and the veterans and people who had stock in their 401ks in Tesla, and the left is straight out destroying their retirements. So maybe they should think about that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Ron. Of course, the stock market's been moving sideways, and we got a Federal Reserve meeting coming up in May. That's the next meeting of the Federal Reserve Open Market Committee on May the 6th and 7th. And I think they're going to stick with the current interest rates or where they are.
I want them to come down just a little bit. I need it to come down to 4% for housing.
I don't expect that, but things could change. Tomorrow's a new day, and whatever the president has to say today is going to be very important, of course. And as you said, uncertainty is the name of the game anyway. In other words, this is nothing new, and we'll get beyond this as we have in the past.
Well, I'm a former weather girl, and you're an economist, and so we just have to guess at what's going to happen because we never know for sure.
That's right. That's right. We make you weather forecasters look good.
Yeah, that's true. You do. All right. So the March employment index is soaring to its highest since July of 2022, which means what?
It means there's a lot of new hiring going on out there, even with this uncertainty. A lot of it, though, is front-running those tariffs. In other words, imports rose significantly as supply managers purchased from abroad to get around some of the tariffs. And likewise, our trading partners' exports were up for the month. And that was, of course, good news, but we'll have to wait and see what happens in the weeks and months ahead. But again, it was a good report. The national number that came out yesterday was not as good as our regional number. The national number was below growth neutral, indicating I won't say a pullback, but slower growth.
Mm-hmm. Well, the confidence when people are looking to the future and the fact that either these countries are going to come to the table or they're going to get taxed like they're taxing us on tariffs. I don't know why people have a problem with us leveling the playing field because it'll all work itself out eventually. But the confidence looking 6 months ahead, is it optimistic or not?
No, it's more pessimistic, but we've seen that for quite some time. I mean, the president was dealt a tough hand when Biden left office. In other words, I think, and he's dealing with some of those issues right now. So there's going to be a little bumpy road for 2025 with uncertainty. But I think once we get beyond this, I mean, the U.S. economy still remains the strongest among the countries across the globe. So we're doing just quite well. And I think we'll continue to expand.
I think so, too. And it's hilarious to me that, the price of eggs has dropped dramatically now. and all of a sudden the news isn't talking about it because they can't blame it on Trump. But if you look around, the gas prices have come down. They don't talk about it because you can't blame it on Trump. So, they're only focusing on the things that are negative about this administration. He's been in there 2 months. Look at the drastic changes that have already been made, and I just can't wait for him to just get more done. I think it's amazing.
Right, and we got deregulation, which is going to be very solid for the economy. Likewise, AI, artificial intelligence, we're going to see some major upticks in productivity, and that's good. Now, what it means for your listeners out there and for all of us, we've just got to stay on top of our game and retrain and get ready. And this economy is expanding. It's a competitive environment, and we're going to do well.
Yep, we got to stay on it. And Missouri's March Business Index did fall 51.5 from February's 56.2, but everything's going to work itself out. The manufacturing exports are going to be a thing until everybody comes to the table and makes a deal, because these tariffs are not mandates or this or that. It's a way to get them to come to the table and make things more fair. It's basically the art of the deal.
And that's right. In other words, if his strategy works, and I hope it does,
it will.
This is going to be lowering tariffs across the board. That's the goal. That's going to be good for the economy. Great for the U.S. economy. We're more competitive than any other nation.
Yeah, and those nations need our money, and so they can't get all cocky and belligerent, because we'll just go somewhere else. For someone who doesn't want to charge us those tariffs and wants to do business and make millions and millions of dollars from Americans. So there's that. Ernie, where do people go to see your reports on manufacturing?
You can just go to Creighton.edu and go to the College of Business, and you'll see us there with our index. And you can go to Gostin Associates, that's one word, .com, and you'll see our numbers there as well.
All right.
So thanks for having me on.
You're very welcome.
Good to be with you.
Good to hear from you again, too. Thanks, Ernie.
Thank you, Don. Bye.
Bye-bye. It's fun, but that's okay.